The alien woman was ostracized by everyone, but to a human soldier, she was a miracle. The alien woman arrived on Earth with a whisper, not a war cry. She stepped off the shuttle in tattered robes, her violet skin dull with fatigue, her eyes, deep pools of silver, searching a crowd that refused to meet her gaze. She was Selai, the same race that had once fought humanity during the war, now bound to an uneasy peace. A survivor of a dying world, a political refugee granted temporary sanctuary by the Terran Union. But sanctuary didn't mean welcome. People stared. Some turned away. A child pointed. A woman pulled him close, muttering, "Don't look at her." Even the officials at the processing center flinched as they took her name. "Name?" The officer asked without looking up. "Selai," she said softly. "Species?" "Selai." A pause. A longer look. Then a cold stamp of approval. She was ushered into a small concrete block. They called a living unit and told to wait. For what? No one said. Miles Garrett hadn't expected to find her there. He was just back from deployment, bruised and battered from months of peacekeeping on a dust-choked colony. He wasn't a hero, just a soldier with a good eye and a decent aim. But after the war, he'd grown tired of blood and orders. He requested reassignment to Earth, to recovery and quiet. Instead, he got community liaison duty. Basically babysitting. His buddy joked. But Miles didn't mind. Not until he saw her. He entered the compound with a bag of supplies, looking for a housing unit labeled V-28. He knocked on the metal door. No answer. He knocked again. Still silence. Then the door opened, barely. A pair of silver eyes met his. He had seen eyes like those once, across a battlefield. Back then, they were fierce, unblinking, lethal. Now they were simply tired. "I'm with civilian support," he said gently. "I brought you some essentials." She nodded but said nothing. He placed a bag at her feet. "You're Selai?" A slow nod. "I'm Miles." She didn't reply, but he caught the way her fingers twitched near her chest. A Selai greeting, half-hearted. "Do you need anything?" he asked. Again, silence. He left without another word. But he came back the next day. And the day after that, she didn't speak for a week. Miles would knock, leave supplies, maybe say a few words about the weather or how the local birds were returning early that year. Selai would take the supplies, nod once, and close the door. But he kept coming. On the 8th day, she asked, "Why do you keep returning?" Her voice was soft, musical even through the translation device. It startled him. He shrugged. "Because you're here, and I figure someone ought to help. I am not wanted here. You're not unwanted either. Not by everyone." She tilted her head. "Your people avoid me. Children fear me. Even your soldiers." Miles leaned against the wall beside her door. "They're still stuck in the past," he said. "But I've seen worse than you. I've fought worse than you. You're not a monster." "I was a warrior," she said. "I killed humans." Miles didn't flinch. "I killed Selai." There was a pause. "And yet," she murmured, "you bring me food and water." He smiled faintly. "Miracles happen." From then on, she began to speak more. A word here, a sentence there. He learned she had once been a high-caste healer among her people, revered until the fall of her world. She had been captured, experimented on, and later released as part of a prisoner exchange. The war had stripped her of everything. Status, family, even her belief in her own worth. But Miles never looked at her like the others did. To him, Selai wasn't a symbol of a failed enemy or a warning of what aliens could become. She was quiet strength, a mind still sharp, a soul still aching. A miracle, indeed. One day, Miles brought her a plant. A simple thing, green and blooming. "For your room," he said. placing it in her hands. Something alive. She looked at it with wonder. Her fingers traced the soft leaves as if she had never seen something so fragile, so pointless, and yet so beautiful. It's called a jade plant, he said. They're resilient. Survive almost anything. She looked at him. Like me? He grinned. Exactly. But peace never lasted long. One evening, as they walked near the edge of the settlement, a group of locals blocked their path. Well, one of them sneered. Didn't know traders came in purple now. Miles stepped forward. Back off. She shouldn't even be here. Another growled. She killed our brothers. She's under protection. Miles said evenly. Yeah? Protected by what? You. One of them threw a bottle. It shattered near Selai's feet. She didn't flinch, but she also didn't run. Miles stepped between them, hand on his stun baton. I don't want trouble. Too bad, came the reply. But trouble didn't come, not fully. A security drone zipped overhead, its red light flashing, recording everything. The men scattered. Afterward, Selai sat on a bench, her hands trembling. I should leave, she whispered. I am not safe here. Miles crouched in front of her. No, you're not going anywhere. You've survived too much to hide now. Why do you care? She asked, voice cracking. Why do you keep protecting me? He hesitated, then said, Because when I look at you, I don't see an enemy. I see a second chance. For both of us. Weeks passed. She started to venture out more. People still stared, but they also started to see her differently. She helped at the clinic, healed a boy who had a rare infection, advised on Velarde biology that saved another's life. Slowly, wariness became curiosity. Miles was always near, always watching, always ready to defend her if needed, but more often he just listened and smiled. One night, on the roof of her housing unit, they sat beneath the stars. Do you miss your home? He asked. I miss what it used to be, she said, but I do not miss being alone. He looked at her, surprised. You are kind, she added. You see me not as I was, but as I could be. I see you, he said simply. She reached for his hand. Then let this be my new beginning. They never made any grand declaration. No kiss under the stars. No dramatic proposal. Just two souls scarred by war, finding comfort in silence, in presence, in understanding. And sometimes in the small miracle of a shared life.